Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Spouses Overview. We are here today to give you some fundamental information about what it would take and what may be required in order to conduct and facilitate proper dating protocol and possibly facilitate a marriage with an international prospect. First of all, there are all magnitudes of what I might say challenges, even thinking about this concept as you are going forth as we speak, some of you, into meeting individuals via virtuality, and virtuality may include Facebook, may include dating sites. You may see somebody on Twitter, on YouTube, and reach out. So the world is now connected, and it's very difficult to practice the traditional protocol of courtship and dating when you all are so far apart and you're only depending on technology in which to engage yourselves with one another. Now, if you are considering dating or possibly going forth in marriage with an individual who may be of another nationality, you first must have an open mind, because the individual that you're probably going to choose has and will come with all types of different ideologies, customs, and traditions. Mainly the mindset may be slightly different based on the geographical location and experiences. So you must not approach the situation with prejudice at all. You must also continue in all that you do to stabilize yourself and be prepared to support that individual, as that individual should be prepared to support you. It is ironic that selfishness would be ideal to come forth in all things, as people coming from two different backgrounds, and they must make a total decision to commit to the two becoming one. So today we're going to start with fundamental things in the initial contact. If you're going to be contacting each other via the internet or any form of social media, what should you do and how should you approach this? Because we all know that there are mammoth amounts of scandals that are around, and they are not all people who arrive on the platforms of these social media networks that they so choose and desire to become totally partnered with somebody. There are a lot of scammers, a lot of people trying to get green cards and new ways out of their countries, no matter what it is. And I do caution you, if you are United States citizens, to be even more careful, simply because you're not realizing what the issues are will eventually cause you to be snared. And I do know of people, Americans, that are married individuals from foreign countries. This is not everybody. And they only wanted to get the green card or the citizenship. There is no real guarantee, but I do pray that you begin to pray for discernment and have your own strategic checklist and make a wise connection, make a right connection. In the initial stages of contact, basically your profile should be very well put together. You should have information that is representative of you. Because what I've discovered is that people contact you over and over again with excessive small talk. And I must say excessive small talk. How you doing? How's your day? When people are productive and they are moving strategically ahead in purpose, they don't have time to tell you right then what's your favorite color within the first 15 minutes. If you somewhat have a profile that is somewhat attractive, I guarantee you, you're going to have innumerable contacts that will be contacting you. I also caution you about how much information you place there, which will also make you attractive, but it may also make you a target. certain positions, if high-ranking financial institutions and governmental organizations and things that may put a bullseye on you that you may be excessively prosperous, I would definitely admonish you not to put all of that information on there. It may not also be wise to showcase your fancy cars and all of your houses and properties on there, even taking pictures in front of them for any reason. If you know you're going to be using your social sites for that, please make sure that you presented yourself in some of the best forms. I would recommend, highly recommend, that you have a casual, that you have a casual, that you would have a casual suiting outfit, and you would also have a well-formatted dressing outfit that you would in otherwise be able to showcase your different dimensions of fashion. Now, if you're not a fashionista, that's okay. But if you are seriously considering dating or retrieving or making a connection online, you must have reasonable photography. I don't care if it's with your own camera. Dress yourself up in an athletic outfit, maybe put on a shirt and a pair of slacks and a hard bottom shoes for men. Ladies do the same, a nice simple skirt outfit and maybe a dress or something, so they can see you in different angles of your style and what you might like. Also, I would recommend you actually being truthful about things you like to do as far as hobbies and so forth. Be extremely honest with that. Give them basic information. Some of you are not going to tell the truth about your age, but it would be very helpful if you would just put the year, even if it's not the right date. That would save some people who are searching for women and men in a certain age bracket a lot of time, instead of wasting time messaging you when they know that you're not within their age perspective. Now, when you make a contact with somebody online, I've noticed that on Facebook and some other things, everybody wants to do a video chat. You have not in the initial stages brought forth enough credibility on this entire world of scandal and all forms of displeasure that may be out there to initiate a video chat with somebody that you absolutely do not know. It would be an excellent protocol that if you would actually ask them, can we schedule a video chat at a certain time, and just tell them, I'm interested in you in this certain way, or I would like to chat with you. My name is such and such, and I'm from such and such, and I am dutifully seeking a partner. They can respond and say, well, I'm married, I'm not interested, I'm not dating now. That will save you some time. But those that may consider, after they review your profile, because I'm sure they're not going to answer until which time they review your profile. When they review your profile, they are going to determine if they're going to accept your response or your video chat invitation. I guarantee you, if you have a well put together, accurate profile that demonstrates a real person with a real life and a person that may be a probable candidate, they will accept your video chat. And this may be your first introductory date or the introduction. I would greatly advise that you not accept video chats from everybody or video conferences for anybody that just sees your picture and wants to talk. This is not this type of world. You should not, because there's it's very not nice. Because for a person to really assume that they're somewhere in the world and they have access to you, that may be an entitled person. By a person showing that I want to respect your time and I want you to accept this invitation, shows that they are concerned about you as an individual and not trying to forge their own will or their own desires upon you. That's something to consider. After you have that video chat, the initial video chat, that's when you can actually If they have time to review your profile, they can review the profile and have a list of questions, because time is valuable. We don't have time to sit on there talking about what's your puppy's name, this and that. Let your profile be exemplary of who and what you are, so that they may be able to formulate some questions before your first video chat. Initial video chat is probably going to be some form of small talk. What's your complete name, and how old are you, where do you work, what are your interests, basic things. If, however, you want to know if there's time for another chat, you should also make that engagement before you leave. And the next time you have a chat, I think you should go more into an affirmative conversation, going into more details, maybe even a video date in which you may even sit visually and have dinner with that individual and really get to know them. It is probable for me to sit here and other people, and I can be enjoying my dinner and they can be enjoying their dinner. We can dress properly. We can have conversations. This world is wide open with technology. So the second encounter should possibly be a formalized date, in which you guys are enjoying each other's conversation, maybe through dinner, even if it's a virtual dinner. It's a great idea. By the third conversation with multiple people, you should have an idea if you're ready to go forth all the way straight forth with that individual. Now, I do know that no one is just taking one person at a time these days. Maybe you're going to have 2 or 3 or 4 in some capacity that you are going to have to engage with. And when you engage with these individuals, you will have to prepare yourself, because you're going to have to make a decision. You have 4 prospects that you are using from social media platforms. By the third conversation with each one of them, you should have done a process of elimination. First of all, it's not fair to the individuals that you are holding up and pretending that you are interested in pursuing a relationship with them. And while they are waiting, they're probably foregoing some other opportunities that are more promising. So I would suggest you do only 3. You do 3 dates, virtual dates with each of one of them, and you make a final decision as to which one you'd rather go forth with and to pursue possibly a relationship. You should, by that third date, be able to determine if you have chemistry with that person and if you don't. After 3 extended conversations and laughter and hanging around throughout the house or hanging around outside, I would even suggest that one of the dates that you guys are out in the park. They're in their location, you're in your location, just kind of maneuvering out and feel like you're connecting. Everything doesn't have to be closed in the house. If you're out walking, let them go walk too, and you guys can just talk and see each other on your video cameras as you need. So there are different ways of arranging these virtual dating sessions. After you've decided that that is the person that you may continue to conversate with, it depends, I would say, on your age group and what your priorities are in a certain season in your lives. Some people have already purposed that they would like to be married or engaged within 6 months or a year. Some people have decided that they are not going to marry, and therefore they are not going to pursue such things. So that person should know. If it is your intent, and make sure that is the intent of the individual whom you are contacting or you decided to be, as they say, steady with, therefore you should, with all things, be honest. If you're dealing with an international prospect, first of all, you must understand it's not like crossing the road. There are stringent guidelines in immigration that may delay even that individual being able to come and be custodial with you, even if you marry, and even to visit. Dealing in circumstances that we are now, possibly in the COVID-19 era, that person would have to get vaccinated, possibly may have to secure a ticket, see what planes are flying out, if there are any bans or restrictions in flights from different territories. Also, that you must consider that the visas that are required are different from each country. In the United States, if you're going to initiate a visit within the first 90 days, I would definitely recommend that. Initiate a visit to whatever country. You might go to one, his, and he may come to yours, vice versa, male or female. But within 90 days, attempt to initiate a visit. And even if you don't go to one another's country, is there a country, a median location that you guys can meet in that's neutral territory? And that is my strongest recommendation. Can you find an institution or a country that has lenient, I would say lenient immigration or entry requirements that may just require a passport, maybe a little something else, and a holiday visa or something? That's where you possibly should meet. And as you meet there, you are going to basically continue your conversations and your date. It gives you some one-on-one time, and set whatever perimeters you're going to set based on your faith, your expectations. It should not be, by all meetings, a hook-up session that would cloud your thought process and cause you not to be able to reason and ration yourself. So those who are just looking for sexual pleasure will definitely manifest in that first meeting. I would strongly advise that you forego that and continue the fellowship of friendship. After you guys return from this initial meeting within the 90 days, you will have a better idea of the chemistry that you have together, and if you would enjoy this person's company on an ongoing basis. Everyone is not able to pick up and would not make a decision to move to another country for a dating process. This is why the continuous communication, the extended vacation time, the visitation for both individuals will be a necessity, that you find as much time as you can to actually visit. After you have decided all of your processes of faith and customs and traditions within each nation, and you're accepting of those things during this courtship, then there's a probability that you possibly should be applying for what we call a fiance's visa if you're in the United States. The fiance's visa will allow an individual to come to the country for 90 days under the preface that they are your fiance and you're going to be marrying within 90 days. If you have not done your total data evaluation or dating and you need more time, I would recommend that this would be a great occasion for you to do so. Meanwhile, while they're also coming in for the fiance visas, they can begin to apply or consider applying for a green card, which gives them an opportunity to work. If somehow you decided in the 90 days or in the first 60 days that this is not going to work, that individual will have to just go forth and basically return to their country. There is no way that individuals are able to stay with a 90-day fiance's visa and they are not marrying somebody. They must marry you, as far as I am concerned. Now, after they marry and you want to try to delay their visas, it's already in process. There's a possibility that they can go forth and make a plea and have it extended for a time. But basically, after marriage, you don't become a citizen, a full residence in application for naturalization from 2 to 5 years into it. But you do get a permanent residence certification once you are married. So the 90-day visa, fiance visa in the United States, is a great time to vent, great time to do proper evaluation as to if this is what you want to do. So I would recommend having the wedding on the latter end. And if you are really not sure at the beginning of the fiance visitation, you should not possibly plan such an elaborate wedding and sell a date. You may want to do a quick wedding or ceremony when you really decide with a spiritual leader, or go to the court facilities and have it done. This would be the wise thing, because I know of instances where individuals have come to their countries under fiance visas, and before the 90 days, they ended up being in the country under illegal terms because they left the partner and went on to be with other individuals or to connect with family. I would strongly advise you not to do that, because with America and other countries dealing with turmoil in their immigration sector, it is not wise to be labeled as an individual who will not abide by true rules. By not abiding with these rules and regulations, you have in so many ways negated the possibility of getting a resident visa, any form of visa, to come into the country. How do you determine incomes when people are coming from other countries? During the dating process, even before you marry, you should have an idea if that person is going to come to you or you going to come to that country. You should have an idea and a transferable skill set that will get you into those arenas as quick as possible. The arenas that you are wanting to get into and to work, you should have a certification for those, whether it's education, whether it's plumbing, whether it's a contracting business, engineering. Be aware that based on certain accreditation entities within each countries, especially people coming in the United States, it may be challenging for you to find work because you first must be certified, no matter how long you've been working in your native country in that particular domain. The U.S. has so many regulatory agencies, and also they have unions in certain fields that you must comply with. This should be a mighty discussion as you are coming forth in deciding whom you're going to marry, where you guys are going to live, because you can't live by love alone. You must have some substance. So please consider these, whether they're entrepreneurship projects, whether it's going to be a professional job. Start doing this research within the first, I would say the first 90 days and the second 90 days in which you are together on a visa. So we're talking about a 6-month process before anyone should even be considering marriage, to be very wise and to be very cautious in this matter. The initial 3 months is basically the conversations that you're going to have online, connecting with individuals, families, virtuals, or whatever. And you should at least have one visit, preferably in a mutual spot or in one or the other's home country. In the next 90 days, there should be a thought process about how you guys are going to come together or find a way to spend more time. If that means that they're going to come to your country, you come to theirs on a 90-day visa, you're going to get married. If they're going to stay, make preparation for that as they may be preparing for a visa. Then again, they may have to return to their country for another 3 months and continue to work and prosper while they're waiting on the green card to be issued in their countries or any type of work permit. That's also a wise option, because that individual is not left in lingo in an opposing, not an opposing country, but in the spouse's country while they are waiting to basically have legal permission to work. So if they can go back maybe 3 more months, so we're talking about 9 months, then return, and at that time they will have time to complete certain businesses, such as closing out their accounts if necessary, leasing property, getting rid of goods that they may have, saying a formal goodbye to parents, family, and their native land for a season. Now, maybe not forever, but for a season. So we're talking about a 9-month process. The 9-month process. In the 9 months, which would be a wise time period, 3 initial contacts, fellowshipping, another 3 to make a sincere contact in waiting and living with each other in marriage at the latter end of the 6 months, if you found this to be the person, and then maybe another 3 months separated as you begin to find your own locations. If you're going to relocate in that particular country together, it gives everybody time, and everyone should have their own income, a reasonable income, or potential to make these things a possibility. Biasness and prejudice about customs, lifestyles, and daily living. These are things that you should possibly take notes of, because everyone doesn't eat the same way, the same foods. Some smells of certain cultural foods may cause nausea for someone else. Customs for going to sleep, bed. I mean, how do they normally sleep? Do they shower consistently before? Do you like cologne or whatever? These things should ultimately be discussed in the first 6 months. There are certain things that you don't have to wait to see to discuss, that this is what I expect these are my desires. If that person, you've noticed that in the first 6 months, the latter 6 months after that extended visit, you guys cannot come into agreement, because the power of agreement is a necessity, then you should forego any further. At this stage in life, I would just advise anybody, even if you're 21, 31, 41, 51, 6 months should be the ultimate time in which you should be able to make a decision if this person is a likely candidate for marriage, or you want to marry. No longer than 6 months. Don't allow yourself to be pulled along and mesmerized by a lot of talk, because when you are at distance, you don't see the real thing. Don't go any further than 6 months. Make a final decision of your expectations, and make the apex of the relationship within those 6 months. I would also recommend that you have a thorough understanding of the religious practices and backgrounds of faith-based and any form of ancestral or traditional spiritual engagements and rituals. This is ever so important, as people are coming from all over the world, especially the continent of Africa. You need to be fully aware of their practices from their forefathers, from their present communities, and even their personal convictions. Be very observant about this, even while you are dating and conversating from afar. And if you might have the spirit of discernment, it will thoroughly assist you in this, that you may not be deceived, because many people come as an angel of light. Do not take at first glance that what they decree out of their mouths, whether they decree Islam or decree Christianity, Hinduism, whatsoever the choice may be. Please do not be deceived. Make sure you yourself have an understanding of what that faith may include if you decided to marry someone with an alternative faith. Those of you who have stringent belief systems and must, because of your culture and your convictions, marry within your own confines, please understand that you must thoroughly seek God, so that you will have a clear revelation of what is to come. People come in all forms of light, but they actually are ministers of darkness. The only way that you will really be able to determine if you made a righteous decision is that you seek the Lord thy God. And may he bless you, and may he increase you in all of your ways, that you will prevail in these things. Wisdom is what's going to be required. Patience is going to be required. Things to be aware of. Be aware of people who are overly anxious to get married, and overly anxious to get to your country. Overly anxious people normally have alternative motives. If they've been single this long, they can wait 6 months to figure out if it's going to work. If they have been divorced, they already know what it's all about. So beware of overly anxious individuals. Be aware of people who will not relinquish information concerning their lives openly for you, and be aware of people who will not allow you to visit their territory for some form of reason, because sometimes things are hidden there. When you're marrying internationally, also beware that there are some people who may already have marriages in other countries and that are deemed as legal. You may want to do your research for that particular country or province to determine if that person is married, or hiring an investigator, because you'd hate to be connected or even marrying somebody who's already deceiving you. And this happens quite a bit because the marriage society and the institutions of probate throughout the world are not synchronized. There is legally, literally, no way for you to determine this without research and proper protocol. I would suggest that you facilitate this. So this is homework for everyone, since the virtual community is basically a facade. Many people are very pretentious. They show us what they want us to see, and it is their Facebook life, their Twitter life, their YouTube life. But is that the real life? Find people who are honest, even if you don't like all that they say and do. Find that they are honest, and then approach them with your honesty. This should happen probably within the first month of talking. You should have some truth. This is the initial overview of probability of dating and marrying an international spouse. We will continue later. I was hoping that we had more individuals so I would be able to take questions, because this is not about Tashia Craig Ministries. This is about individuals who are diligently seeking a life partner and need direction. There will be some individuals, as I extend these invitations, that I will also mentor, and there will be certain contractual obligations with this. And also in the research process, for those that are in need of someone to facilitate research on their behalf of an individual for a recommendation and to assure that they are basically validated and legitimate individuals. We'll discuss this in session 2, because sometimes 2 heads are better than 1, and 4 eyes are better than 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tashia Craig with International Spouse. You guys have a blessed day. Until next time, may love find you and may you make the right connection. You be blessed.